Emmy Award-winning actress Edie Falco is returning to the small screen in a new CBS drama. Of course, you will know her from her iconic role as Carmela in The Sopranos or as Jackie in Nurse Jackie. Now Falco stars as Abigail Thomas, a New York City transplant who becomes LA's first female police chief in Tommy.
What's your name, Flash?
Abner Diaz.
Bronx?
Mott Haven.
Hicksville.
Hicksville.
Long Island.
Hicksville?
Hicksville's not Hicksville.
Hicksville is Hicksville.
No, Hicksville is not being able to get a bagel.
I see where you're going with this.
Hicksville is not being able to get a slice.
You can't.
Here,
I got a guy.
a real New York slice. Diaz, these are invaluable skills.
And Edie Falco is here with me now. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's so good to see you. I was telling you before the camera started rolling that I've been a fan of yours, not just through Carmela, but through Homicide: Life on the Street and Oz, which is really, for me, sort of when I sort of became. Your character was kind of very intense.
It was a rather intense show, if I recall.
It really was. Yeah,
yes.
it really was. And now you're back on the small screen. What drew you to this role?
I had been looking at scripts, you know, always looking for the next thing that will sort of excite me, and this is the first one that really grabbed me. It looked like something I could kind of sink my teeth into for a while. The writing was really, really good.
And so maybe our viewers will not know this, but there's actually never been a female chief of police in Los Angeles.
That's right.
So did that factor into your decision?
It did not. It was not something I knew about until we got up and running. How few female chiefs there actually are in our country. I was sort of shocked by that piece of information, but it's time.
Yeah.
And so, I'm glad that I can be part of this conversation in whatever small way.
So I was reading a really interesting profile of you in the New York Times, and it had some of the things that you can't live without, right?
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, I thought that was really kind of interesting. And our viewers might be interested to know that you watch a lot of news. You watch CNN, and you said that you know, people like Jake, I used to work at CNN, so people like Jake Tapper and Allison Camerata and John Berman are like,
they're the celebrities.
Yeah,
they're
for you,
like,
they're
oh my gosh, I'm such a big fan.
And you say that you still look at news for information and to find out sort of what's going on.
Absolutely. Well, I think it was on 9/11. You know, we all turned on the news to find out what was happening moment to moment. We were in such a crazy crisis time, and I think I've kind of kept it on ever since then.
Yeah.
There's such a tremendous amount going on right now, and I want to be ahead of the 8 ball as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's even an expression. I want to stay on top of what's happening.
Right. Well, there's also now CBSN, now that you're in the family.
I am just
in the
finding
CBS
all these
News
things
family.
out. It's all very exciting.
You also talk about, in that piece, I thought it was interesting, you referenced your father twice. You mentioned that he was a big lover of jazz and that you love the Village Vanguard here in New York City to go in and listen to jazz music.
Yes, I grew up listening to jazz. My dad was a drummer and a huge aficionado, had an incredible record collection that we listened to all the time. And what was it? I can't remember the call letters of the jazz station that we listened to all the time that changed over some years ago. But and he and I would go there occasionally, Village Vanguard. We saw Billy Eckstine, a bunch of really tremendous musicians.
Wow.
And and my father and I were very close, so it's a big part of my life.
So, and one of the things that I'm always curious about when I talk to actors is how much of your upbringing, I know there are people, there's that old famous Laurence Olivier moment with Dustin Hoffman. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's like
I keep
Hollywood.
Hearing it too.
You hear it too, right?
It's like, why don't you try acting?
Why don't you try acting, right?
That's right.
And so I wonder, though, whenever I interview actors, if there are parts of their upbringing, their childhood, the closeness that they have with their families or not, that they then use to imbue into their characters that they're playing.
There's no way it could not be a part of that. I think you have no choice but to have part of yourself bleed into your characters, hopefully adding dimension to that. The way you were raised has got to be a big part of that. You know, the extent to which it's a part, I really don't know, but kind of all you have to offer is what you may glean about a police chief and then what you have to offer as a person.
But you've always played really strong characters. So, and I know your mom was an actress, but is there part of her strength in your roles, or were you just surrounded by a lot of strong women? Or you are also a strong woman, but I'm just wondering if, like The Image, you said it's time now to show a police chief of Los Angeles, and I wonder if you've always had that sort of sense of strength.
I think I must have on some level, although it's funny, I never would have identified myself as that. I've always felt like sort of vulnerable and a little nerdy kind of, but I keep playing these sort of tough women, which I'm thrilled to be doing it, but I don't know, the wool's being pulled over somebody's eyes here, but
acting, brilliant.
It's your imagination.
Yes.
But it just makes no sense to me that some jobs like this one, like a police chief, has not been done by a woman. I mean, it's not a, I don't know, maybe it is a strength thing, but it's just ridiculous. I don't know what the holdup is in some ways, so I don't know.
What can we expect from Tommy in terms of your character, the arc of where she starts the season, and what can we see or what can we look forward to as we continue to watch the show?
Well, she's really kind of out of sorts a bit when we first meet her. She is in, a city she doesn't know, in a job she doesn't know, in a precinct she doesn't know. Co-workers are new. She also has an adult daughter who lives in Los Angeles, who she's not particularly close to, and she's kind of finding her way in the earlier episodes, and she starts to figure out, as we move further into the series, who she can trust, who she's got to keep her eyes on, and how to kind of move the culture forward, the law enforcement culture in Los Angeles, how to sort of move it into the new world we find ourselves in.
Can we expect to see, I'm guessing there will be moments where she's faced with perhaps fellow officers who are misogynist, or some of the racial issues that have, from time to time popped up in Los Angeles.
Absolutely. And one of the things I loved about the way it's written is she has a tremendous amount, she really has her feet on the ground about what she can do and the fact that she is good at it. And part of her is reserved for knowing that she will get pushback, but I don't think she gives it a lot of lip service. It's more like, this is my job, I was hired to do this, I can do it, and your inability to see that is not my problem. This is your adjustment to make.
Looking so forward to this. Thank you, Edie Falco, for stopping by.
It was a pleasure.
Pleasure's
Thank
mine.
you.
Tommy premieres this Thursday at 10, 9 Central, only on CBS.